Yesterday, the Hollywood trades told you that Tom Holland's Spider-Man Brand New Day would be a second place finish domestically behind Avengers Endgame. And we, here on this channel, came out and told you, no, it's going to win. And guess what? It did. But not before the headlines had already slimed the effort. Today, we're continuing to explain why Hollywood secretly hates Spider-Man Brand New Day and what Tom Holland is doing for the fans. Hello folks, hello friends, welcome back yet again. It's a pleasure to endeavor explaining entertainment with you, and keeping you ahead of the culture curve is what we do every single day. Smash that like button and let's get underway right now. You remember this title? You remember this? We talked about it yesterday from Deadline. Anthony D'Alessandro, Spider-Man Brand New Day powers to amazing second best global opening at box office with $927 million. Folks, they've changed this headline. Go back and watch my video from yesterday. They've changed the headline. This was second best domestically. They've adjusted it. You gotta love this. And now the breaking news is that it's opened officially at 360. It's the #1 biggest ever domestic opening. But this headline has been shifted. Headline's been shifted. Why has it been shifted? Well, let's go read the content of it real quick, and then I'll change this up. If we go down here, it says Spider-Man Brand New Day has a $927 million global opening at 90,000 screens worldwide, second best ever for the motion picture industry, behind Avengers Endgame's reported $1.22 billion global record bow, and ahead of the $640 from Infinity War. Okay, cool, right? Let's go down. Anything here about it being the #1 ever for domestic? Anything? Folks, you're going to have to scroll because they're trying to scrub this now. And we told you, right? There's nothing from the... Folks, go watch my video from yesterday. Deadline came out and slimed Spider-Man. And they weren't the only ones. Hollywood trades were all about this. Today, they're scrambling to fix it. Hollywood Reporter is putting it this way by Ryan Gajewski. Spidey surprise! Brand New Day lands top opening weekend ever with $360 million, beating Avengers Endgame. Surprise, they say. Except we told you this was going to happen. And by the way, this 360 is not finished. For if you look at this, ladies and gentlemen, Spider-Man Brand New Day right now is at 360,000,000. These are not real numbers. These are updated estimates. This number is likely to continue to rise. But the Hollywood trades came out and declared, no way, this is second place. Second place finished domestically. So why did they do that? As we see, if we go to Avengers Endgame and we go down to the domestic here, the opening weekend for Avengers Endgame was 357. Now, some of you out there might say, well, Pro, you like to talk about inflation, so given inflation, Endgame is actually more impressive than Spider-Man. No, that's not the case this time because Spider-Man was locked out of all IMAX showings in its opening weekend. Endgame obviously was not. But the Odyssey is holding all of the IMAX screens, every last one of them. So what Spider-Man did by blowing away Avengers Endgame on the opening weekend domestically is huge. It's huge, but the trades don't want to tell you that. The trades don't want to admit that. The trades now are scrambling to get caught up after they told you second place, second place, second place. So how did they miss this so badly? And by the way, we should also say Spider-Man is getting IMAX release starting next weekend. So sorry, Odyssey, that contract does not look as ironclad as it once was. Spidey's coming in, and that means the drop-off will begin finally for Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey. Get ready, get set. It's going to happen. I'm going to put a bet on that, eh? All right, well, let's talk about how this played out. How did this happen that Spider-Man did what it did? How is it possible that Spider-Man beat Avengers Endgame when so few saw it coming? And how is it that the trades have come to the place where they dislike Spider-Man so much that they would call it second place when they knew the numbers were not in yet? Well, it's about this. If we go to the wrap, Casey Loving. I'm going to show you what Hollywood despises about Spider-Man, and they're going to be mean to Tom Holland in the same way that they have been mean to Timothée Chalamet. This is coming. Spider-Man Brand New Day tapped Challenger scribe Justin Kuritzkis for rewrites. Kuritzkis, we're going to have to get to know this name. Trust me, I'll tell you why. Chris McKenna and Eric Summers were initially credited as the sole screenwriters. But now Justin Kuritzkis is here. And you say, well, Pro, what in the world does this have to do with anything? Why would anybody care about that? I'll scroll on down. I'm going to show you the interview at the exact time we need it from Tom Holland, Amy Poehler, when he goes on to talk about how things got changed on the fly. You remember we talked to you about how Tom Holland was part of the creative process and he wanted to make sure the fans got exactly what they wanted. We played this video before. This video is new. Let's play it. He gives additional information as to how Tom Holland, who is not credited as a writer, was still writing the script behind the scenes. Here we go.
Amazing. And I can see why you respect that in each other.
Yeah. We had an amazing moment on Spider-Man Brand New Day. And it's only because of our relationship that this happened, where we were shooting this scene and we'd shot my coverage. We then turned around on Zendaya. We're doing her coverage. And I would never, ever dream of saying this to an actress that I wasn't with.
Right.
And I said to her, I said, do you think that this scene is working?
Yeah.
And she was like, no, I don't think this scene is working at all. So I then went to the producers and asked, like, do you think this scene is working? And they said no. And I was like, yeah, me and Z are like really not feeling it. I then went and sat down with Dustin and said, hey man, listen, I know we've been shooting for hours and I hate to tell you this, but I don't think that this scene is working. Z and I, like what we're supposed to feel, we're not feeling it in the moment. And what I love about Dustin is he's so calm. There's nothing that could throw him off. And he just he listened and he sat down and he was like, well, what is it that you're trying to feel? And I told him and he went, yeah, you're right. That's exactly what we need to be feeling. So he said to the crew, everyone can go home.
Incredible.
We're going to sit down and we're going to rewrite this scene with the writer, Justin,
so smart,
who is such a talent. And we came in the next day, we reshot the scene. And I'm so glad that we did because it's,
all right, that's all we need. I don't want to play too much of it, folks. If you want it, go check out Good Hang with Amy Poehler featuring Tom Holland. Now, why do we play that? What is special here? Well, the Justin that Tom Holland is referring to is Justin Kuritzkis. And this gentleman is rather unknown in Hollywood. He's got an IMDb, but it's not much. It seems like, from what we're hearing, that Tom Holland, in the writer's room, but not credited as a writer, a guy who says that he researched, he used podcasts, he looked up what the fans wanted, the anti-Star Wars, as we said this morning, right? Tom Holland decided he wanted to give you, the fan, exactly what experience you were looking for with Spider-Man. How did he achieve that? And the answer is, it seems, Justin Kuritzkis. That Tom Holland had a personal writer there when scenes did not work for him and Zendaya, his wife, when he didn't like what was going on in the middle of shooting. After Chris McKenna and Eric Summers are gone, he has a writer there to rewrite the script as they're filming. It's not just that Tom Holland was able to help select what's going to happen in this movie. It's not just that he would only sign on if it was a great script. It's that Tom Holland had a personal writer, we believe now, in Justin Kuritzkis, who when Tom Holland said, I don't like this, we're going to change this, we're going to come back tomorrow and fix this, he talked to the director, didn't step out of line, but Sony deferred to Tom Holland this way, and kudos to Sony for doing this. Sony gives Tom Holland the ability to do this, and he does it through Justin Kuritzkis so that Kuritzkis will get the writing credit, and Tom Holland remains an actor. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how we get to the point of Spider-Man Brand New Day beating Avengers Endgame. Because it was crafted with love by somebody who cared, by an actor who said, I'm going to do this for the fans. And every step of the way was willing to say, this works, this doesn't work, we're going to fix this, we're going to change this in a way that other movies don't. Kevin Feige does these patchwork things after it's done. They duct tape it together in post. They fix it, they make it be whatever it was going to be, after the thing is filmed. Often they don't have a script. Here's a situation where Tom Holland has such love and dedication to the film and to the fans that he and his wife have a writer on set ready to go when a scene doesn't work. It's amazing. So I told you that I would let you know why Hollywood hates this. Going back to the Deadline article, that they've changed the headline, they've changed, they've dropped parts of it out of there now. What do they hate about this? Why did they call it second place when it was clearly not second place? First place, ever. Cinematic history. Why did they call it incorrectly? Why did they get this wrong like some sort of election? Why did that happen? Because Hollywood does not want, and the elites do not want, for actors and writers and directors to cater to the fans. That is the opposite of what they've been trying to assert for more than a decade. They want to subvert your expectations. They want to change the culture. They want to twist the stories. They want to get rid of the hero's journey. They want you and your kids to view their myths that they've altered, that they've inverted, as the glorious usurpers. And when Tom Holland does this with Spider-Man, it undermines all of that. It's anti-Star Wars. It's really anti-Marvel. It's anti-Disney, even though Disney didn't make this thing. Sony did. And they're terrified of that. They're terrified of the idea of delivering to the consumer what the consumer wants with no apologies given. Just, we're going to do this for the fans. We're going to do this for society, as society is. When Timothée Chalamet tried to do this, by the way, when Timothée Chalamet said that he was not interested in making, ballet because he wants to make mass market appeal kinds of products. They made a plaster mold of his buttocks, marched it up on stage in front of him at the Oscars, and spanked it in front of him and his girlfriend, and mocked him through the entire show, despite the fact that he's one of the hottest young actors out there. It was a shaming ritual intended to say, you shall not step out of line. You shall not differ with us. I suspect the same is on the way for Tom Holland, except they maybe can't do that. And the reason they can't do that is because Tom Holland, it turns out, is the actor behind the biggest brand on the planet. And that's official. And that's a problem for Disney because they don't own the theatrical rights to Spider-Man. And because what Sony and Tom Holland did here is they did this the way it should be done. They did it for you. And whatever you think of the movie, they did it for you. And they've had Spider-Man films after Spider-Man films where they didn't turn Spider-Man into a cynical hermit of a man, teetering on the edge of collapse because he doesn't believe in what he said he believed in anymore. Nope. Spider-Man has been not Jake Skywalkered. And they hate that about this character. And they hate that doing this drives this kind of success. This was supposed to be the summer of the Odyssey. Instead, it's the summer of Tom Holland and Spider-Man. It's the summer of the fan, of you. Ladies and gentlemen, smash that like button, share, subscribe, drop a comment down below, let us know your thoughts, and click it, stick it to the algorithms. It is the notification bell. Until the next time, keep learning, keep growing, keep swinging Spider-Man, and keep having fun.